All right, so I'm here with Coach Mo, and this is his story. But first, we have a sponsor. Something Spiritual Sports has been a blessing for me and others as well. Now we are blessed to have our first sponsorship with Kingdom Sunglass. Please check them out at kingdomsunglass.com. Their product glorifies God with different names. They are supernatural, eternal, and sport. Go spread the love and also have an amazing affiliate program where for every pair you sell, you receive $15. Thank you, Mark, so much for participating or partnering with Something Spiritual Sports. Kingdom Sunglass, see the glory. So, Coach Mo, tell me your testimony. Tell me a little bit about your testimony.
Oh man, Zach, where do I start? I'll tell you what. I'll take you back to high school, and then I'll bring you up to speed to kind of where we are now. Man, has been an amazing journey by the grace of God, and I just want to give honor to Christ for allowing me to be able to go through all the things that I went through to make it here, to have a testimony, to give Him glory. So I'll start with that. In high school, I was, rated one of the top premier athletes in the state of Florida, leading into my senior year, and what would look to be a promising year that we could potentially go to states and win, ended very quickly over the summer, coming into my senior year, where I was hit with a bunch of injuries that left me sidelined. I ended up being invited to the Miami Nike camp, and I was competing in the morning time there, and I ended up rolling my ankle, and it kept me on a brace for about maybe a month or so after that. So heading back to the start of the year in the summer, uh, I was in a air cast, and I wasn't full go um, when we started back in school, and I was always, out of practice before all the other guys because I hadn't been able to practice fully. So I didn't have my shoulder pad. I didn't practice in full with everybody. So I was one of the first guys always out of the locker room. And when school started back in 2003, August the 7th, 2003, a tornado, which was the first recorded in Riviera Beach, Florida, ravaged my home. And my family, we had to evacuate and renovate our home. It took 9 months to renovate the home, but we were out and we had to move in with my auntie and my uncle for the time being while our house was being renovated. And it was so bad that the CNN trucks and all the news stations, they were outside my home the day of the tornado, and it was crazy because I was actually coming from a photo shoot, being honored as one of the top players in the county. We have it called Super 11. I don't know. I think it changed to five fab or something of that nature. But when I was coming out, it was Super 11, which is top 11 guys, whether the offense or defense, and Palm Beach County were being recognized as one of the top players in the area. So I had on my football uniform, leaving the photo shoot, and it was just raining so hard outside, and the street lights had went out, and we ended up, making it home. And I got into my room, and my big brother Darius, he yelled out, "Oh, come look at this!" And so I ran out of my room, get to the living room. Everybody's in the living room, looking out of the front window, and we see a tornado spinning about 50 feet in front of our house, coming towards us. And I didn't recognize the voice of God back then, but I knew that He spoke like, "Get in the closet." And so I said, "Get in the closet." And we all got into my mom's bedroom, in the master bedroom, and we got in the closet and we closed the door. And when we shut that door, it literally ripped through our home. It sounded like a train wreck coming through the house. And it only lasted probably about maybe 20, 30 seconds, but it felt like eternity in there. And when we opened that door to come out, it was debris all over the walls. The bedroom doors snapped off. The windows, glass were broke, and doors snapped off the hinges. I mean, the house was. It looked like a swamp had literally transformed our house, and so that's why we had to move out. Now, 15 days later, this is what really shifted my life in my senior year. Uh, we were coming home from practice. Now, this route that we took, I wouldn't have taken this route if we wouldn't have never had to move out of our home. And so, because we moved out the home to live with my auntie for a while, we took a route that we never take, which is a two-lane street, Walmart Luther King Boulevard. And this day this was a Friday evening after practice. We were getting ready to come home, and we was riding on the two-lane street, and this guy was right on our side of the road, and we're literally coming over a canal where there was water underneath. There was like a little bridge, and we really didn't have much a way to go to maneuver from him. And as he got close to us, we tried to maneuver and get out of the harm's way, but we switched to his lane, and he ended up getting back over. So the impact came on the passenger side, and where I was in the back seat, and on the passenger side, and so I dislocated my right hip and my left arm. I tried to brace the impact and catch myself from hitting the seat. My face hit the seat anyways, and I had lacerations over my eyes. I ended up getting stitches on my eyes because I had hit my face hard on the seat, and I was knocked unconscious. I ended up coming back conscious at the scene, and I woke up to hear my brother crying, and my brother, he was a ninth grader at this time, and the other guy who we played with, he was a sophomore, I believe. Uh, no, actually, my brother was a sophomore. He was a junior, and I was upcoming senior. I was a senior, and just 15 days ago, the tornado hit our home, and then 15 days after the tornado hit my home, we in this severe car accident where it nearly almost took our lives. And thank God that nobody died, but it was just bad. The passenger, he was in ICU for about 3 months. I was hospitalized for 2 weeks, and then I started therapy in home therapy on my hip and my thumb. And all my little brother sustained back injuries and migraines, and the driver, I believe he broke his knee or two. Um, so the injuries were pretty bad, and and had not been for God, I wouldn't be here right now. I tell you that. And I could not play my senior year because of that car accident. And where I was in such a depressed state, uh, I said, I don't want to do nothing. I just want to graduate and leave and start all over and start my athletics in college. And then about 2 weeks after I made that decision, I was like, I'm not going to let this drunk driver take my senior year from me. So I'm going to run track. And I told my mom while I was still in the walker, not fully rehab yet. And I said, Mom, I'm gonna run track my senior year, and I'm gonna win the gold medal. And I promised my mom the gold medal. And my freshman year, I got a hit point in the freshman sophomore meet, and so I was in it for the rest of the year. I couldn't go to states my freshman year. Then my sophomore year, I made it to states. I came in second place. I lost to a senior. And my junior year, I had the fastest time going into regionals, and I tweaked my hamstring in practice. Just running, doing too much, and it tweaked it. And I thought I would be able to run in the track meet at regional, but it wasn't fully healed, so I had to literally jog. I actually prayed before the race. I said, God, if it's not healed all the way, give me a sign. I won't push it. Let me know so I'll just jog in if I have to. And when that gun went off, my hamstring like grabbed me, and it was like, "Oh, you're not gonna go today." And so I limped all the way around the track, and it ended my junior year in regionals. And then so I had one shot left, man. It was my senior year, and I told my mom, man, I'm going for it. And how it works in the high school, and I believe still to this day, the top four in district go to regional, top four in regional go to state. And I had not come in first place until districts all track season long. I literally was my first track meet back. I came in last place, and I believe the second one too. And I, I had a coach from Pahokee High School, track coach, come up to me because I was I probably was in a depressed state. I probably looked like I was depressed. And he ended up coming up to me and he said to me, he said, son, I know you now. You used to win and you don't think you're winning right now, but you are inspiration to all of us. Just a few months ago, you were in a severe car accident and now you are here competing. That alone is a win for me. And he said, keep doing what you're doing, keep working hard, and keep your head up. And literally after that talk with him, I it's like something changed in me, and I started working harder, and I kept persevering, and I started improving even more. And then when we got to district, that was my first time coming in first place, and I ended up talking to a reporter after the meet, and I told him what my mission was. I was set out to win the gold medal for my mom, and they got it in the papers, and then the regional came, I won again, and here we are, all the way in Gainesville, Florida. And at the school that my wife she went to at the same time, and I actually had a football and a track scholarship to run at the University of Florida, and I turned it down, but I get to that in a second. Why I ended up going to where I went, and I'm in this track meet, and it's raining. It's raining, literally cats and dogs is what we call it. I could not see 15 meters in front of me. That's how hard it was raining. But because it was no lightning, they did not postpone the meet. And so the guy who though was orchestrating the guys to line up and get them ready. He said to me, he said, Morgan, let's give him a show. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And so we they call us out the final heat for the boys 400 meters, and I go out. It's raining hard. I hear somebody in the stand say, "Hey Morgan, you fast, but my boy gonna beat you today." I kept my game face on, and I didn't look up to the stands, but I heard him. And I knew I had to change my strategy a little bit because of the rain, but I didn't know to what extent until I actually started running. And it was raining so hard, I felt heavy. So I could not run my normal strategy, how I normally run it. But as I got to the last turn and the last 100 meters, I was literally in last place. It's about the guys that broke my stagger. I am in the lane 5 in the fastest lane, and I'm in what you would look like a V shape. I'm at the bottom of the V, and the guys are on the side of me and in front of me. And I just started reciting my favorite Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. I could do all things through Christ, which give me strength. And I just kept reciting, and I was just coming closer and closer. And I started passing guys. I just kept reciting until I got to the finish line. I dipped, and it was so close that we had to literally wait until the jumbotron ran the names across from 8th place all the way to 1st place. And I was standing there with Willie Thornton. He was up there, Clay Central High School at the time. And he literally told me some years later, he was like, man, the University of Central Florida told me if I would win the state, that I had a full track scholarship. And that's what he was running for. He wanted to beat me so he can get a full ride to UCF to run track. And, you know, unfortunately for him, he came across 2nd place, and my name came across first. And I broke down in tears in the infield, and I ended up standing on that podium holding the gold medal. And my mom came to the infield, and I have a picture to this day with me putting the medal over her neck and, embracing her in the infield. And I said to her, we did it. And she said, you did it. And as we, cried and held each other. And I ended up deciding I was going to go to Ohio State University. And a week and a half before National Signing Day, they pulled my scholarship because they didn't think that I was going to be healed enough to actually play my freshman year. And they ended up getting another guy who played the same position. But they ended up telling us that because I wasn't in the top 50% of my graduation class, and that they were Ivy League school, and I had to be at the top 50% and for them to give me a full scholarship. So it was bogus. My high school coach and I, we knew it was a cop out, but we got back in the shadow and contacted the schools that were recruiting me the hardest. And at this point, I really wanted to just stay in the state of Florida. I didn't want to go out of state anymore. I would call the University of Florida, and runs was the head coach at the time. and he said that we had given all of our scholarships out, but we will still take you. You can come in January and get what's called a gray shirt, where you have 5 years to play for. So I would literally miss my freshman year, but I would be red shirt and I still get my 4 years. And so I was like, man, my senior year in high school was my red shirt year. I want to play. So that's the only reason why I turned down the University of Florida and ended up going to NC State. I took a visit to Raleigh that weekend. They flew down the next day and they said, if your doctor clear you, you can come up for a visit and we'll offer you for a scholarship. And that was one of the most exciting times, man. I went to my doctor, Dr. Saslow, and I said, Doc, I got a full scholarship riding on the line. They said, if you clear me, I'm good to go. I can go up to Raleigh and sign. So he looked at me. He said, how you feel? I said, I feel good. Smiled and said, you ready? I said, yeah. And he signed the paperwork. And I took it to NC State, showed the coaches, and we flew up that same weekend. Had a great time. Ended up, while I was up there, came back still on Tuesday, National Sign Day. I was able, by the grace of God, to still sign a national letter of intent to NC State University, where I became a Wolfpack. And I ended up coming in as an athlete my freshman year. I went to the offensive side of the ball, and didn't pan out for me the way that I would have liked it. And I decided I wanted a red shirt so that I would not waste my freshman year. And I ended up, after the season was over, it was like a divine encounter with my head coach, Chuck Amato. And we were in the hallway. It was just me and him. And I stopped him. I said, Coach Chuck, I said, where do you best see me helping my team and my future? And he looked at me and he said, the one I see as a professional DB. I said, Coach, let's make the switch. And he nodded his head and he walked off. And then next thing you know, about a day or two later, I'm looking at the chart for the spring roll roster, and I was on defense, and I ended up winning top newcomer on defense, and the rest is history, man. I ended up leading the Wolfpack. I was tied and tackled my redshirt sophomore year, and my redshirt junior, I led the team in interceptions and tackles, and ended up leaving as a redshirt junior to enter into the 2008 NFL draft, where I was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, and ended up fulfilling my childhood dream by the grace of God, man. And so, my experience in the NFL. If you want me to keep talking about it, I can. But I also wanted to. You can stop any time, but I wanted to hone in on my experience leading me to write a book called Dear Athlete. And I can talk about that now, or how do you want to segue into that? But I definitely want to share that part before we get off the phone.
Yeah, definitely share that. But yeah, your testimony is very amazing. Um, Funny enough, I actually ran track. So I ran track and I went to the States my junior and senior year. I ran the 800. So yeah, so I didn't win, but I did go to States and I got 10th both times. So
Oh man, what were your time? What's your PR?
so 800, I was never sub 2. I ran a 203. So
Okay.
yeah, so it was good enough to get the States, but it wasn't good enough to win. So, because I think you need to be like at 2 minutes or sub 2, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I ended up doing sub two, but that wasn't my race though. I was a 400-meter rate runner.
Yeah, my split for 400 was 56.
Oh man, I don't want to tell you what I ran, man. You gonna be like,
Huh. You probably ran a 50, right?
oh, about I ran 56 in middle school.
Oh, okay. Oh, man. Yeah, you're on a different level.
Oh yeah, man, God is.
Yeah, but I was also in a smaller class, so, like, I wouldn't have been able to compete with the bigger classes because 'cause they'd have been too fast.
it's all good. You made it, or you get to say you made it to the stakes. A lot of people don't get to say that.
And then for cross country, my time was 17:08.
Yeah, I can never do that cross country.
Yeah, so, um, but yeah, if you wanna share about, the book or, whatever you feel led to share.
Oh, most definitely, man. Yeah. So, or one second, make sure my kids are. Yeah. So a little bit about the book. It's a tale of triumph. I would say. You know, with all my experiences from high school, college, and the NFL, and it's me just really sharing my journey, overcoming the challenges, and providing the guidance for young athletes. Mm. And it has a lot of reflective moments, and I like to say it to most athletes like a motivational guide, and to help them to have insight on things that I know that they would go through as an athlete. And I wish I would have had that insight when I was coming up. I'd tell you my career would have been a whole lot different than what it was. And I discuss things like building mental resilience, handling self doubt, navigating the pressures and decisions of sports as in your career. Uh, and then I draw from my personal experience, and even let's talk about my near death fatal car accident in high school, and how it temporarily derailed me, but did not stop me. And I use that, you guys, are my motivation to help me persevere and endure and be able to come back and share a little bit of my faith in there, the disciplines, and the decision makings of some things that I had to encounter at the collegiate level, for sure. Whereas I was promised, to be a starter, and who would have the best summer camp would win the starting job, and I ended up declaring and being a starter. It was even in the paper in Raleigh, North Carolina, that DeJuan Morgan intends to start a spot, and to only find out come week one was playing against Virginia Tech, they wanted to go with the more experienced guys, and I didn't start as a sophomore, redshirt sophomore. So that shook me a little bit, but I believe it helped ignite a fire in me to play the way that I played, and I built off of that. I didn't allow that to derail me, that to stop me. So just being able to handle adversity. Um, the book is 100 Keys to Success. That's what I call it, with a bonus key. And you know, it's an easy read for athletes, I like to say, because some of the keys only, a paragraph long, a couple sentences. It's not like it's not a chapter book where each key is a chapter long. So you wouldn't get overwhelmed with reading 10 keys in minutes. So I know it's an easy read. But the feedback that I've gotten so far has been, you know, overwhelmingly great. By the grace of God, I just want to just continue to spread it so that these athletes, um, they can get the help that they're going to need, and not wait until they get into situations to find the help. So they'll have the solutions there if they would just read it. You know, it, just topics such as overcoming injuries. That's one thing that most athletes are going to face at one time or another in their career. And are you going to have the mental fortitude to be able to push through rehab the way you need to rehab, take the proper protocol, the proper steps to getting back? And then once you get back, how is your mind? What is your mental fortitude? Are you worried about your injury? Are you favoring it? Most athletes, that is their Achilles heel. They're thinking, oh, am I all the way healed, or if I'm gonna get it all the way back, am I gonna get all the speed that I had before the injury, or am I gonna regain my strength that I had before the injury? And if they're not careful, they'll favor the injury, and they're in a re-injuring or injuring something else because they're not going as all out as they should be, or they're worrying about that injury. So, just giving them the wisdom and the guys I am like, here I am, I dislocated my right hip and ended up coming back and running the track and ended up playing football and still making it to the NFL by the grace of God. So, sharing my experience of how my mind was at those during those times and just being able to give the sound wisdom and counsel to the athletes that will read the book, what they're getting ready to embark on. And these principles are not just for sports. They translate, they go over and they spill over into your the real world when you start to, get a 9 to 5 or pursue another career. These essential keys will help you in those areas to be successful. I've had, parents that read the book before they give it to their child and was like, man, this book helped me. And I'm not even an athlete. And so, I would recommend that if you're an athlete, definitely get that book. And if if someone that just want to be successful in your area, or business, those keys, it help you even have keys in there about leadership. And, I think it's a very great book, not just because I wrote it, but because of what's in there. And I know that God is going to be glorified through the book. The bonus keys is a really bonus key. I won't spell it for those who would read it. But when you get to key 101, um, don't skip through the book. I recommend you read it from cover to cover. There is a treat at the end um, that I believe is going to be definitely good for all that will read it. So yeah, you can get it on DewanMorgan.com. That's where I would personalize it. It'll come to me, and I'll get the sign and write a little note in it and ship it out to you. Or you can just get it on Amazon and come right to your doorstep. But it just won't have my signature or a message from me in there. So those are two ways you can get it. DewanMorgan.com or Amazon.com. It's a red book, Dear Athlete. And I'm sure it's going to help change your life and impact you. And it's definitely a book that you're not going to read one time. It's going to take you through your entire career. If you're in high school, if you're a parent that got a high school kid, get that book. It's going to help them be the best athlete. And the theme around it is being coachable. It's going to help them to be the best athlete they can be and give them the keys that they need. It speaks about each level. So it's going to help prepare your child to transition from high school to college. And if they're in college, it'll help them to stay and maintain and be focused and get them ready for the professional level. And they make it to the professional level, it'll be keys that remind them of how they got to where they are so they don't lose sight of that. I think that's very important that we can get to the pinnacle of our career and our success and that we're not grounded, that we don't stay grounded, we could lose that position of where we are. So that book is going to serve as a reminder of doing the things that it took you to get there. Also, I help you along the way to get there. So yeah, that's the spill on the athlete. I was actually inspired to write it. One day I taught mathematics at high school, and as a high school teacher, the kids would be in the classroom and in the school and they want to be on TikTok and Instagram and sitting on their phone and they're dancing. And these are athletes that I was seeing. And I'm also a high school football coach. I'm a defensive coordinator now at Western High School in Davis, Florida. And I just got like this righteous indignation to see these kids wanting to be successful, wanting to go to D1, play on that national football level, and they're not doing the necessary work that it takes to get there. And they think that the Instagram followers and the likes and all the shares will get them a scholarship. And I'm like, this is not it. You're not going to get a D1 scholarship because you got 10,000 views on your post. It's the hard work, it's the grit, it's the eye, it's the effort, it's the focus, the discipline, all these things that you need to make it. It does not have anything to do with popularity and likes on social media. And so once I decided to make a video to address the issue, the first thing came out of my mouth was, "Dear athlete, let me help you." And I started going 10,000. It's really on my Instagram. If you go back and watch that first day I leave video, I ended up numbering them because I got ready to put it on social media. I was going to edit and everything, and then it was like the Holy Spirit illuminated the athlete to me. And I said, man, you know what? I'm gonna start making videos called Dear Athlete and address the athlete with whatever things that I'm at to address. And so I started doing that, started pulling them, started numbering them. And by the time I got to like 21, I ended up having a dream. The Holy Spirit gave me a dream of me writing a book. And I woke up that morning, I told my wife, I said, I had to write a book. And she said, go for it. And she said, you already got the content by posting it on the Dear Athlete videos. And she said, you could use that. I said, you know, you're right. I wanna go to a 100. And I ended up, doing a book, 100 Keys to Success. And so I would make these little 1 minute, 2 minute clips on social media and start each one of them. I said, dear athlete, let me help you. And then address the topic that I was discussing. I ended up having those topics in my book. So it ended up just being a divine thing, man. And God gave me the inspiration, and He literally gave me everything that I needed to, from the publisher to somebody sewing into me to even get the book done. So it's literally a God thing. So I'm happy to see God be glorified, and I know this book is going to outlive me and help many generations to come and help shape the next generation of athletes to be coachable and be the best athlete that they can be.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, yeah, I really enjoyed listening to you and just hearing your testimony. Is there anything else you'd like to share, or is there anything else you wanna say that might people might wanna hear?
I'll say this to uh and not just the athletes, but anybody that would hear this. You don't know what God intended to do with your life and the things that you go through.
Mm,
It's all for His glory.
yeah,
Your process is your process. Don't negate your process. Don't give up on your process, because God is going to get the glory out of your life. You may not be where you want to be right now, but you're right where you need to be, because it's all going to turn you to Him.
right.
And I don't want you to stop. Don't give up. If God has put something in your heart to do it. And He's going to give you the resources. He's gonna send the people. He's going to send the help. If He gave it to you, He's going to see it through. He's going to take you through it. So never give up on your dreams. Never stop. Don't quit. Don't throw in the towel, because, and we know that all things work together for the good to those that love Him and are called according to His purpose. And you're called, you're chosen, and God is going to do something special in your life. If He brought you to it, He'll bring you through it. Just like the Hebrew boys, they were in the fire, but they did not get burned because He was in it with them and He brought them out of it. And He did it for them, He'll do it for you. For He's the same God yesterday, today, and forever. So I want to encourage you to just keep striving, keep trusting God. Lean not to your own understanding. Continue to acknowledge Him, that He'll direct your path, and look to the hills from which cometh your help coming from God. And that is all, man.
Amen. Wow. Yeah, such a great testimony. So honored to just hear your testimony and all that God has done in your life. And I'm gonna end it here, but um I've been through a lot myself as well. So like I have my own testimony. But yeah, so they this uh just gonna say thank you, Coach Mo, for coming on. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Um, it's a pleasure, man. I'm honored to be able to be on this call with you. I also want to give honor, and I want you to put this somewhere in this interview. I want to give honor to my spiritual parents, Apostle Art Caleb Jean, and I'll text you the name so you'll have it.
Okay.
And Prophetess Danielle Jean, my pastor, and my wife, Shanika Morgan. I'll text you all those things, because they spoke into my life my leaders, they prophesied concerning, um, the book, The Athlete, um, even giving me the name Speak More Life, um, and just praying me through, and my wife for, pushing me and sticking by my side and speaking the word of God over my life as well. And so I want to make sure that, I give honor to them, because, we can never do this on our own, no matter what. This God's going to use somebody to help us get through. And so those are three people that are near and dear to my heart as I'm on this journey in my walk with Christ. And so I want to make sure I give honor to my leaders and my wife as well.
Awesome.
All right, buddy.